Hey, what's up everybody? Welcome back to another reaction. Today we have one from Warhammer 40k Darktide. I know nothing about this. I barely know anything about Warhammer 40k, so this is going to be completely foreign to me. I barely knew that they had like games based around that property. Either way though, Black Gold wanted me to get to this one. Apparently this is played during like demon zombie waves, and that's about all I got for context from Black Gold, so I'm going in otherwise very blind to this one. And I guess I do have to listen to it to figure out what it's all about, so without further ado, let's go! Ooh. Moody. I'm liking the industrial percussion design on here. Oh, building up. Into what? Ooh, okay. Wait a minute. I don't know why I didn't expect something so heavy out of Warhammer. At least not heavy in this direction. I think I was expecting something more metal, but industrial makes sense. A lot of sense. Like atmospheric industrial. I can't really tell what the voices are saying, but I like that they're there. It's a nice detail. Kind of adds a bit of world building to the song. I also like that it's like extremely minimal, all things considered. It's basically all sound design and then a bass line for the most part. Though to be fair, this section is just that one synth. Just laying on that. It's such a weird... such a weird sound. But again, it kind of fits. The little I know about Warhammer, this does make sense in hindsight. The detuned strings are a nice touch too. It's like it's struggling to stay together. Does create a really clear atmosphere, and demon zombies would definitely fit that. If you were to play this without that context, I would have been like, what is this, demon zombies? It's almost like Black Ops Zombies if it was in the Doom universe, in a way. You might be able to tell what I mean there. Again, going into this, I didn't really know what I was going to get out of it. I didn't know if this was going to be something metal or something completely different. This was different. I really didn't anticipate such an impressively atmospheric track. I mean, I guess I should have, especially with the context given that it was demon zombies. Like, how else would you portray that other than either metal or this? But I don't know. I guess that's just the fact that I know so little. about this and so little of what to expect out of it, because I know so very minimal about the lore of Warhammer, that I really didn't know where it would be going musically, aside from the most bare bones guesses, you know, like it could have been anything. You could have thrown in pop here and I would have been like, oh yeah, that sounds about right. Like, I don't know. And that's kind of what's fun when I first, like, so many of the things I cover on a regular basis, I've learned more of their lore, what the things that they're going for are supposed to convey, the whole point of a character theme, you know, like I've learned all of that stuff. So having a franchise that I don't even have a general introduction to, I've seen so many random scattered bits of information about Warhammer that there was no way I was going to be able to make a legitimate opinion about it or even have an idea of where it's coming from. So it's nice to be back in that seat, is what I'm trying to say, because I know so many things that I cover on a regular basis now to a degree where it's not really a surprise. But for this one, for whatever reason, I didn't know what to expect, and this is neat. This is really neat. Again, it has so much going for it. The sound design was phenomenal on this. It was so clean. I loved the industrial aspect. It was super well done. It wasn't like overstated either. Like, it stayed in the background. It felt more like it was happening in a separate part of the same level of the warehouse that the rest of the song was being performed in. The vocalists were like on the other end of the building, you know, like that sort of vibe. It sounded truly like it was coming from different places in the area. It wasn't using so much of like the 3D space around the head, and it wasn't like using a bunch of spatial panning or anything, stuff that would normally be like, whoa, it's happening around me. Oh, it was very much just a stereo experience, but it was the fact that it was spread out. It was spread in like a stereoscopic way. It was spaced out, but it wasn't like moved in a bunch of different locations in the ears like what a lot of people try to do with panning, and it always sounds cool, and I think it would have sounded cool with this, but also I kind of have to respect that it's just what it is, you know? Like, I don't think that takes away from the production at all. If anything, in some cases like this one, it can help control stuff that could otherwise get very unruly in the mix, and that might have been what happened here. It's just the fact that it sounded so solid in the space it was. Maybe the producers didn't really feel they needed to do a bunch of other panning around and trying to play with the space. Maybe they just decided it wasn't worth the time, because some people just figure it's not, which is totally fine as well. But also, like I said, I love that it was very stripped down. It was basically just a single synth, a single bass line with a bunch of percussive elements, and of course the vocals just kind of tossed in there for flavor, and it worked, you know? Like, sometimes super minimalist songs just sound empty, and they did a really good job at filling that space. It was mostly the percussive elements. There was a lot of them, even if they are all percussive elements, they're still very plentiful, and you could feel that in the mix. And that's all I mean by saying it was using that stereo space very well. It was using it intelligently. It wasn't like trying to force all those extra things to move around the head, because it knew exactly what it needed to do. It had a lot of information already, and if you were to spread that out too much, the song might have ended up sounding empty, like a lot of more minimalist songs do. So in general, just the producers of this track, knowing that, probably going into it, working with it and going, maybe we shouldn't overdo this, you know? So I gotta appreciate that. And I never could tell what the vocals were trying to say. I assume it's in a different language. That happens a lot in these games, especially things with like multiple factions, much like Warhammer is known for. So that's one of those few things that I know about Warhammer that I can actually apply to my guesses here, is that it's just something I wouldn't know, because it doesn't exist in my general vernacular or even my vague ideas of other languages around the world. So maybe, I don't entirely know, maybe they were singing something in a language I'm aware of, but it was also so pulled back in the mix, and it felt like a choir, like way off in the distance as well, again using that space very well. And it's just like, man, you really can't make it out sometimes in mixes like this where things are so echoey. There's just plenty of reverb on it, and you're not really meant to know, I suppose. But that also happens a lot for songs like this, where like the vocals are very echoey. It's extremely reverbed. You can't hear anything. You could barely tell that there are syllables in there. I'm sure there are people out there who could probably figure it out based on what their knowledge of the languages are in this game, but for me, I'm assuming that it's a language that I just don't know, so I'm gonna roll with that. Either way, it fit really well in the mix, and I like the scale it gave the song. It was like a threat coming from the distance. You could feel that. So demon zombie waves totally fits that. But I think I've been yapping enough, so I'll end it here. Thank you all so very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video and you want to request something else from this game or any other games or any other people even, drop in the comments below and I will do my best as always to get to those. Or if you want to guarantee something, much like Black Gold did for this one, you can also go to my Patreon or my YouTube memberships. There's a tier that will force me to listen to whatever you want. It doesn't matter who it's by, what it's from, if it's good or bad, none of that matters. That's why it's a guaranteed request. But if you don't want to do any of that, and maybe you just want to follow me and support me for more stuff coming in the future, you know how to do all that, and I will see all of you in the next video. Goodbye!